Welcome back to Whitby, where the Richmond Ravens are set to take on the Smith Falls Cubs on game number 2 of this Saturday tournament. It's called the Tournament of Heroes, and on the ice right now is the letter line for the Richmond Ravens: Hernandez, Miguel, Sear, and the puck comes to the neutral zone. Miguel gets it on her stick. Now Miguel with it. She makes a couple of moves. It gets stick checked off of her now, and the Cubs have it in their zone. They're going to double back and put it off the wall. Ravens hold the line, put it back in for Miguel. Miguel looking for Hernandez in the middle. Hernandez makes a good move to get it back onto her stick. Now back to the blue line, walking in. The shot goes way up in the air as it hits a stick in front, and now comes back down into feet of the Cubs. Cubs put it down ice on the near side, and they give chase as the Ravens retreat back there in. Icing is going to be called on the play with 10 minutes and 56 seconds remaining in the first period. Puck making its way back down to the Cubs zone. It's going to be on the left side of the goaltender, deep in the Cubs end. Trying to take the face off. Puck is dropped. Tran makes that face, or wins that face off. Comes back to her. Now she tries, or Sear puts it right on net. Sorry, that was Sear who took the face off. Goaltender makes the save. And the face-off will come back over to the left side of the goalie. Sear lines back up. Sear wins the face-off forward. She's going to collect it in the corner. She's got a couple of people on her. She tries to get it back to Cabana, but it gets past her. And now the Cubs come in. Cubs working their way into a shooting position. Shot saved by Babcock. He won't on the that. 10:36 remains in the period. Face off to the right side of Babcock. Puck is dropped. Face off. Won by the Ravens with the help of Cabana, and Cabana's going to head man it up ice. Cabana working her way up. She chips it around the defender, and now she's going to pick it up in the corner. She advances it back, but it's read by the Cubs, and they get it up to the neutral zone. Macy has to be careful. She got some pressure on her. Now the puck comes to the blue line. Macy battling for it, gets some help from Tran. Now on the Cubs stick, they double back into their own zone. Now the defender comes off the wall, back into the neutral zone, chipped off the wall, back to Macy. Macy makes a couple of moves, and now she tries to stretch pass. That's going to miss all the players and go all the way down for icing. So the puck will be collected and go back down into the Ravens zone with 9 minutes and 58 seconds remaining. Ravens 0, Cubs 0. Face off to the right side of Babcock, trying out to take the face off. Puck is dropped, face off won by the Ravens out to the wall, but it comes back to the blue line. They're shot through traffic. Saved by Babcock, who holds onto that one. A bit of a knuckle puck there as it was rolling on in. Babcock has no problem with it though. Face off comes back to the right side, trying to take the face off. Puck is dropped, face off won by Tran cleanly. Morin back to pick that up. Morin gets double team behind the net. And the Ravens go to battle. Cubs have it. Cubs walking out. It gets shot off of one of the Ravens sticks. And now it comes out to the middle, kick towards the net. Now by the net. Morin battling. She gets some help there from Tran. Puck comes back out to the top of the circle and now to the point. From the point, chip back down low. Now from behind the net, the Ravens, Morin battling for it. And Tran comes in to help her. Cubs walking their way back out. They're going to swipe it back to the center. The shot from the point gets tipped down before it makes it to the net. Now the puck out to the far side. Ravens get it on their stick. Wing with it. Wing looking for a play. She's going to pass it forward. Tran gets it on her stick and cuts to the outside. Tran now on her backhand stops up. He loses the handle on it as the Cubs come back the other way. Cubs unable to get it out of the zone as Miguel pulls it back in. Now gets into some feet and comes back in the neutral zone. Nishi puts it forward. It's kicked back into the neutral zone by the Cubs. Now back in the Cubs zone. Cubs are going to come over to the open wing on the near side. Miguel giving chase. Sear giving chase. And now Kay turns it over the other way. Cubs retreat back from behind their net. They try to come up the near side. Amadei pinches. It gets past her, and now Sear's going to get it on her stick. She puts it back deep. Now back to Sear. Sear on her backhand. She puts it back into the Cubs zone. Cubs off to skate up the ice. They're going to cut to the outside. They gain the zone and put it around into the near side. Now the Cubs put it back in behind the net. Miguel has some room. Miguel with a little bit of pressure on her, puts it for Amadei. Amadei on her stick. Amadei looking forward for Sear. Sear unable to make that pass, and now the Cubs have it. The Cubs cutting into a shooting position. They put it right on, and Babcock makes the save. 7:59 remains in the period. Face off to the right side of Babcock. Hernandez out to take the face off. Puck is dropped. Face off one with the help of the forward. Now it comes right to the middle, and the Ravens clear it down ice. We should have icing on that play. 7:55 remains. I don't think the clock even ticked down a second there. Face off should be to the left side of Babcock this time. Oh, they're going to keep it to the right side of Babcock. Hernandez remains on to take the face off. Hernandez wins that one cleanly and puts it on Macy's stick. Macy stops up and puts it off the back of the net. Now Macy's going to go for escape. He passes it over to the far side and hits McDonald. McDonald through the neutral zone with Cabana. McDonald cuts the outside. Now on her backhand, she cuts around behind the net. He tries to center it. Cabana gets buried in front of the net, and our ref's arm goes up. David steps in, and the whistle goes as Babcock just barely got off the ice for the additional skater. Ravens go to the power play for the first time this game with 7 minutes and 33 seconds remaining in the period. Hernandez to take the face-off. She's got Cabana on one side, McDonald on the other, with David and Macy back on the blue line. Puck is dropped. Face-off won by the Cubs. They're going to rip it around the wall. First one there is Cabana. Cabana goes back to the blue line for David. David mishandles it, and now there's a partial break. Now a full breakaway. Macy back, and she gets enough on it. There was a shot. Babcock both shots right out to the side. Cubs now with it. Cubs try to put it back to the middle. Hernandez has it. Play continues. Pass over to the near side for McDonald. McDonald with a move to the middle. McDonald cutting to the net. She gets stick checked and it comes over to the side. Now cleared back to the blue line. Macy gets it on her stick. She walks the blue line. Macy cuts into a shooting position. Now Macy with a shot right on. Saved by the goalie. He holds on to that. No rebound available. 1:23 remains in the penalty to the Cubs and Ravens. Getting the face-off deep in the Cubs zone. 6:56 remains in the first period. Wing, Tran, and Basket out there for the forward line. Tran wins the face-off. She tries to put it across for Macy. Babcock comes out to play it. She's got pressure on her, so David now picks it up. Ravens get it turned over. Now they lose a handle on it. There's a shot towards the net. Babcock makes a save and dives on top of that one. There's a bit of a broken play on the power play here. And the Ravens go for a change. 6:35 remains in the period, 1:02 in the power play for the Richmond Ravens. Sear puts it in behind the net. Cubs trying to seal off the wall. Picked up there now by Ravens Nishi. Nishi comes off ice. Sorry, that's Tran. Tran working her way up ice. He gets it in the zone and now gets some help from Sear. Sear puts it deep, looking for Kay. Play comes around to the near side, and Morin's the first one there. Morin pulls it off the wall, and now she puts it back deep. Tran in after it. Tran wears a player, but gets some help now from Sear. Play continues as the player tries to freeze the puck on the wall. 24 seconds remains in the man advantage for the Richmond Ravens. Play comes out. Now back off the wall for Morin. Morin walks the blue line. Now she chips it back in. Tran with it. Tran puts it towards the net. It hits a body and goes wide. Now back off the wall. Sear has it. Drops it for Morin. Morin puts it back deep. From behind the net. It gets put back around to the near side. We're 5-on-5 as the penalty expires. And now Klaas comes across into the middle to the side of the net and chipped back out to the neutral zone. Sear back after it. Sear over to Morin. Morin looks back up ice, and we're going to have icing on the play. With 5 minutes and 17 seconds remaining in the first period, the puck is going to make its way down to the Raven zone. Miguel, Cabana, and McDonald out there for the forward unit. Nishi and Amade are the defenders. Face off to the right side of Babcock. Savannah fights up a check, puts it off the wall, but she doesn't bounce properly for her. Now it comes back in the Raven zone. Miguel with it on her stick. Miguel looking to go far side. Miguel hits center ice and dumps it in. Now the chase is on as Cabana comes up the near side. Ravens seal off the wall. Cubs turn back in behind their net. They're going to put it off the glass. It runs around the dasher and back out into the neutral zone. Amadei back after that. Amadei with a rolling puck. She's unable to handle it cleanly. And it goes back into the corner as the Cubs put pressure on. Miguel back to help out. Miguel and Amadei battling for it. Ref asking them politely to move the puck. Both teams trying to dig it out. Now it comes around to the near side. Cabana, first one there. Now on the stick of Nishi. Nishi forward for Cabana. Just gets past her. Now picked up by the Cubs. They get chased back by McDonald and Cabana. It comes out to Cabana. She drops it for Hernandez. Hernandez takes a shot. That's blocked, and now we have play coming back the other way as the Cubs bring it up ice. A good stick check there by Amadei. And now the play comes in, and Cabana's going to get penalized. It's going to be, I think, a body check is the play. The body check is the call as Cabana goes to the box with 3:49 remaining in the first period. Face off to the left side of Babcock, deep in the Raven zone. Hernandez out to take the face off. Puck is dropped, face off one to the wall by the Cubs. They put it back to the blue line. From the blue line, the Ravens try to box it up. It goes to the wall and back down low. David with it. She's going to chip it up the wall. That play sealed off, and now back down low it comes. From the corner, the Ravens try to seal it off. Play continues as the players battle for it. Puck comes free from time to time. Now back to the blue line. From the blue line, shot towards the net. It goes wide on the short side. Macy stick tied up. It comes out the far side for David. David, she's going to get it up in the air and down the ice. There's the Ravens clear, and they go for a change. 1:20 remaining in the man advantage for the Cubs. Now the play comes up the near side. Sears steps up. It gets past her, and now on the Morin stick. Morin unable to handle it, and now it gets centered right on to Babcock. She makes the save, and it comes out to the side of the net. Now I think play continues as the puck bounces on the neutral zone. From the neutral zone, the Cubs have it. 56 seconds remains in the man advantage for the Cubs. Hernandez strips the puck off the player. Now Basquet does. Basquet pushes it right on net, and she goes right to the blue paint as the whistle goes. With 47 seconds remaining in the man advantage for the Cubs, the Ravens push back. Face off deep in the Cubs zone to the right side of their goaltender. Sears trying to take the face off. Face off won by the Cubs, gets back to the blue line where Sears steps in and she puts it back deep. Cubs pick it up behind the net now. Cubs unable to advance forward as Basquet and Tran work it down low. Now the Cubs have it. They're coming off ice. 26 seconds remains the power play. They get right into a shooting position. They beat Babcock. As the Ravens go down by one with 2 minutes and 11 seconds remaining in the third period, the Cubs convert on the power play. Coming out to take this pushback shift, we have Kay, Tran, and Sear back on the blue line as Amadei and Nishi. Puck is dropped. It comes out to the near side. Tran's going to be the first one there. She fires it deep. Kay going in after it. She's the first one there. She tries to center it. That hits some feet. Now it comes back out for Tran. Tran's going to carry it down low. She doubles back now as she looks to get to the middle. She works it into the middle. Sear picks it up. Sear tries to backhand it in. Sear and Tran trying to work it down low. Comes back to Sear. Now back to Tran. Now back to Sear. Now back to the blue line. And Sear comes back out. She shoots it towards the net. It comes out the near side as it goes, misses far side. Tran back in down low for Kay. Now back out to the blue line where Amadei has it. Amadei off the wall looking for Kay. Kay works her way into a shooting position. She gets a shot right on. Rebound goes out to the wall. Now back to the blue line. Amadei from the blue line shoots it. That hits a body and goes wide. Now from the corner, comes back to the blue. Amadei comes back up to stop it. Now there's a foot race for it between Nishi and the Cubs. The ref shaking his head, but the play continues. as the Ravens take it back in behind their goal line. Now back to the Cubs. The Cubs have it. They're going to walk their way into the top of the circle. Day gets control of it for a second, and now a shot right on, saved by Babcock with 57.8 seconds remaining in the first period. Ravens down by one. Face off to the left side of Babcock. Miguel will take the face off. Face off won by Miguel. It gets onto David's stick. David comes from behind the net. David cuts to the outside. Now she gets it past the first player. Now the second. And it gets turned back. Cabana holds it in the neutral zone. Now on the stick of one of the Cubs. Miguel comes in to push it to the outside as Macy picks it up. Macy now looking or retreating behind her own net. She puts it out the wall on the far side. Picked up by one of the Cubs. They walk their way in. Cubs try to center it. Babcock make sure she gets a poke check on that one to slow that down. Now the puck comes up in the air and onto Macy's stick. She's going to chip it out into the neutral zone. It comes back into Macy's. Macy now goes across ice, D to D. Now pass forward is McDonald unable to receive that one cleanly. It gets onto Miguel's stick. Miguel chips it in. Now back to David. David, she's going to fire it deep. Cubs come back to pick it up as the Ravens are on a change. Play comes out into the neutral zone. Now chipped out in a partial break with 4.2 seconds. Ravens make sure they get back and stop the play from getting to the net. That'll do it for the first period. Shots on goal are 8-5 in favor of the Cubs. Welcome back for the start of the second period. Ravens down by one. But Babcock making her way down to the third net as the letter line lines up at the for the faceoff. McDonald to take the faceoff. Faceoff won by the Ravens. They carry it to the outside as Fernandez gets it on her stick. Fernandez carries it to the outside. Now she stops up. She puts it all the way back to the blue line. From the blue line, Amade gets a shot. He gets away just to the side of the net as the Ravens were just out front. Now to the side of the net. Hernandez with it on his stick. Hernandez goes back in behind, finds the captain. McDonald back to Hernandez down low. Hernandez to shooting position. She shoots right on, and the goaltender makes the save. With 14:32 remaining in the second period, the Ravens down by one. Face off is going to be the right side of the Cubs goaltender. Miguel to take the face off. Puck drop, face off one to the wall by the Cubs. They're going to try and send it around to the far side. Jumping on the plays, Amade gets past her, and now Sear has to be quick if she has a player on her. Sear chips it off the wall, but the play continues down, and now Sear's going to take it in behind the net. Sear reverses the play over to Hernandez. Hernandez has a player on her. Hernandez reverses the play back, and now chips it around behind the net. Ravens leave on the corner. It's the Cubs with the first one there. Now Miguel puts it back in behind the net as Miguel battles for it. He gets all onto the stick of Hernandez and now turned back. Ravens chip it up in the air. It goes off of the Cubs player and into their bench. We get a stoppage of play with 13:57 remaining in the second period. Sear will take the face-off. Puck is dropped. Face-off one back to Macy by Sear. Macy reverses the play behind the net. It gets some help there from David. It comes back over, and now the Play gets shot out of the rink by the defender for the Cubs. And the face-off will be the left side of Babcock, keeping the Raven zone. Puck is dropped. Ravens pick it up. David has it. David puts it off the wall on the far side for Cabana. Cabana, her pass forward, gets red, and now puts back in behind the Ravens net. It comes over to Macy and then Basquette, but the play gets stopped at the Ravens blue line. Now Basquette gets it forward. It gets out into the neutral zone. But Basquette battles off the check, and it gets into the Cubs zone. Cubs put it forward. Ravens put it back, and now the Ravens have to touch up. From behind the net, the Cubs have it. Cubs come off the wall on the near side. Macy steps up on that. She keeps the play in. It comes back to Macy. Now gets in underneath of her. And the play comes back out to the neutral zone. David with it. She chips it forward for Sear. Sear has it on her stick on the outside. Sear with a button hook. Now comes over to Macy. Macy settles the puck, and now a shot hits her body and goes just wide. From the outside, comes back into the slot. It gets past Macy, and now we have a foot race the other way as the Cubs walking into a shooting position. Shot right on, saved by Babcock, who rolls out of that one and gets a hug from Macy, who lost her footing in the other end. 12:42 remains in the second period as the faceoff comes down to the right side of or left side of Babcock. Sorry. Tran out for the faceoff. She gets some help from Wing. Shot towards the net, blocked there. Now on the stick to Tran. Back for Morin. Morin over for Sear. Sear around behind her net. Sear feathers it forward looking for Tran. Tran picks it out of her own feet. Now back into the neutral zone and into the Raven zone. Sear retreats back. She fights off a check, and now she's going to fire it back out and down into the Cubs zone. Cubs pick it up. They're going to come up the near side. Wing seals off the wall. Wing and Tran, and now on the stick of one of the Cubs. The Cubs coming in 2-on-1. 2-on-2. Cubs from the outside. Now a pass in the middle. The backhand, back door. Like, somehow that stays out underneath Babcock. Face off to the right side of Babcock. We get a forward line change as Miguel, Sear, and Kay come on the ice. Miguel to take the face off. Puck is dropped. Face off one with some help with the Ravens, and now it comes out to the middle. Ravens have to be careful as it's in it. Now Miguel gets it on the stick. Right at Sear. Sear cuts to the outside. She chips it forward. Sear with it. She stops up, loses it in her feet, and he goes back in and rifles around on the far side. Sear steps up, and it goes off of her and into the Ravens bench. We get a stoppage in play with 11:39 remaining in the second period. Face off the left side of the Cubs goaltender. It gets dropped, and the Cubs chip it forward. It gets up in the air, now held in by Sear. She shoots it towards the net, but that hits a body and comes out the wall. On the near wall, Miguel tries to hold the blue line. It gets out to the neutral zone, and now Sear back to pick it up. She's covering for more, and Miguel has it on his stick. Miguel fighting off a couple of checks. Miguel forces it into the zone. Now comes back Sear to Morin. Morin over to Sear on the far side. Sear forward for his sister. That play works out as Sear walks her way into a shooting position. Now a shot right on. Rebound picked up by the goaltender with 11:05 remaining in the second period. Ravens down 1-0. Face off the left side. Cubs win that one. They try to feather it up the wall. Ravens seal the wall. Now it comes back out to the middle and over to the near side. Over after it is Nishi. Nishi's going to pick that up. Nishi looking for a place to go with it. She goes across ice and out to the neutral zone. That ends up on the stick of one of the Cubs. They're going to turn and fire it back deep. Amadei after that. Amadei collects it and goes in behind her net. Cubs on a change. So that gives a little bit of open ice as Amadei loses the handle. Now picks it back up. She gets it out to the neutral zone. Now gets turned back. Ravens now, McDonald. He tries to carry it up. Play comes back out to the neutral zone and over to the far side. Ravens after it. Nishi's the first one there. Nishi. Play comes from the side of the net. Now from the side of the net. Cubs battle with the Ravens behind the net. Now the Cubs have it. They turn it, working it down low as the Ravens battle to keep it to the outside. Ravens with a good chip there. Now off to the races they go. Cabana, he tries to chip it, and it gets stopped by the defender and turned back the other way. Play comes back into the Cubs zone as the Ravens catch up. They head back in after it. Comes from behind their own net. Put it around the wall on the near side. Ravens on a change. It comes back over to Macy. Macy backing off. Now she's going to put it up forward looking for Cabana. Cabana with a little chip there. Now onto the Cubs stick. They're going to fire it back down ice. We have icing called on the play with 9:44 remaining in the second period. The faceoff will come all the way down to the Cubs' end to the left side of the goaltender. Trying out to take the faceoff. Face off, won by the Cubs. Ravens hold it briefly. Now back to David. David puts it back deep. It's going to go back in behind the net. First one there. Here's a Cub. They overskate it. Wing comes back to play it. It comes back to the blue line and back out to the middle. Tran tries to fire it forward. She gets it deep. Now back up the wall. From the wall. Ravens step in. Basquette gets it back deep. Wing in after it. Cubs bring it over to the near side, trying to advance it up this side. Tran in after it. Ravens seal the wall. David steps in, now gets past her and comes out the other way. Walking in with it. There's a shot high over the net. It goes out the far side and out to the blue line, held there by the Cubs. They shoot it towards the net. It goes off of a stick and high over the net. Now the Cubs from the short side back to the blue line. From the blue line. They shoot it towards the net. Babcock makes the save through traffic. Now the Ravens try battling on the half wall on the near side. Now gets into a shooting position. Shot right on. Saved by Babcock. She holds on to that one and stops the play with 8:39 remaining in the second period. Faceoff's going to be the left side of Babcock, deep in the Ravens zone. I'll take the faceoff is here. Puck is dropped. Faceoff one to the wall. Back to the blue line. Shot well wide and well high. It goes over to the far side for Tran. Tran fights it up out of the zone along the wall in front of the players' benches. Sear brings it back in her own zone. Now a stretch pass looking for Kay. Kay for back to Sear. It's turned back. Well, now a chip to the middle. Ravens get a stick on that. Put it back in the Cubs zone. Cubs with it. They're going to come off the wall back to the neutral zone. Sear reads that. She gets a stick on it. Back into the Cubs zone. Now back into the neutral zone. Turning off the wall with it. The Cubs get it to the middle, and now a shot from the middle. Blocked by Sear. It gets back out of the zone, and the Cubs have to collect it. They turn and fire it back into the Ravens zone. It gets onto Sear's stick. Sear with a lead pass gets blocked. Now the Ravens get it back out. Cubs go how the defender has it. They look for a long stretch pass. That play works out, but the Cubs reverse the play on the Ravens and bring it into their zone. Now on the half wall, deep in the Ravens zone, there's a battle. This time ticks down. The puck comes out, and now the Ravens have it. Sear with it on her stick. She's going to chip it off the glass and get chase. Sear gets help from Kay. Kay and Sear work it on the wall. Ends up coming back out to the point and chipped down ice by the Cubs. Ref has his arm up, and icing's going to be called with 7:15 remaining in the second period. Puck will make its way all the way down into the Cubs zone. It's going to be the left side of the Cubs goaltender. Out to take the face off is Miguel. She's got McDonald and Cabana with her, and Nishi and Amade back on the blue line. Passes one to the outside. McDonald gets it back to Nishi. Nishi puts it back looking for McDonald. McDonald leaves it for Miguel. Miguel unable to handle it behind the net. Now it goes out the far side. Onto the Cubs stick. Cubs work their way out to the neutral zone. It's chipped forward. Gets past Hamade. Back to pick that up is Nishi. Nishi's going to force it along the wall. Cabana picks that up. Cabana trips it off the wall, and now it's going to go down into the Cubs zone. Cabana takes a hit, and the ref's arm goes up as the Cabana lays on the ice. 6:47 remains in the period. The coach comes off the bench to come check on Cabana. She took a hard hit about 3.5 feet off the end wall. Not one to go down easily. She plays like she's 6 feet tall and 200 pounds. Coach is looking for some medical assistance as the HCSB for the Ravens comes on the ice. Rob. All right, it looks like they got her to the bench. If Cabana continues to get looked at on the Ravens bench. We had 5 minutes on the clock, and I think the player that is penalized is serving the penalty for one of her teammates who did get kicked out. So I think it's a 5 and a 10 with a game misconduct. Play now starts up as the Ravens are on the power play from the blue line. Amadei shoots it towards the net. It gets tipped just wide. The Ravens were on the blue line, on the blue paint there. Now the Cubs try to eat it in the corner. Ravens put pressure on. Ravens dig it back out from behind the net. It gets reversed around to the far side. Amadei's there. Amadei chips it onto the stick of one of the Cubs, and they put it back down ice. 4:27 remains in the power play for the Richmond Ravens. Play gets reversed. Nishi over for Hernandez. Hernandez cuts to the middle. Hernandez being watched. She cuts to the outside as she cuts off a check. Now with a great move there, she walks around the defender. Her shot short side. Right on as the goaltender makes the save and then dives on to the puck and gets a stoppage of play with 4:05 remaining in the power play. 5:52 remaining in the period. Tran out to take the face off. Puck out to the wall. Cubs try to clear. Now they get it up ice. Ravens unable to hold it on. It's on David's stick. David being chased. She's going to reverse the play for Wing. Wing gets it taken off her stick and fired back deep. David and Macy back to pick it up. From behind the net, Macy has it. Macy looking to set it up as the Ravens now decide to carry it up. Macy to the outside. She fights off the first check. Loses the handle on it and now gets chipped back in. David after it. She has some pressure on her. David back in her own zone. She passes it across the near side for Wing. Wing across ice for Macy. Macy forward for Miguel. Sorry for Tran. Tran for the outside. Now a shot right on. Saved by the goaltender. Rebound comes back out front. Now over into his stick on the far side. Cleared off the wall and back into the Ravens zone. 3:13 remains in the penalty to the Cubs as the Ravens collect it in their own zone. Now comes over for Wing. Wing tries to put it back out to the middle. It gets on the stick of the penalized team. They're going to carry it in. They shoot it towards the net. Babcock gloves that and holds on. 2:59 remains in the power play for the Richmond Ravens. Cabana looks like she's making her way on her own weight abilities to the dressing room. Nobody likes to see that, but it is nice to see that she's able to walk on her own. So the play continues down into the Cubs zone. Picked up by Miguel. Miguel now down low trying to set things up. She stops short side. Now back to the blue line for Sear. Sear walks to the middle and now passes it across. The shot blocked. Second shot just in deep looking for Kay. Now back off the wall. Morin with it. Morin chips it. Play continues as Sear fights off the puck. Now shot towards the net, hits a body, comes out to the side of the net. Miguel with it on her stick. Miguel back to the blue line. Morin walks the blue line. Morin back for Miguel. Miguel spins up a check. Back down low. Miguel back to Morin. Morin. She's going to come across with Sear. Sear with a shot. That hits a body. Now cleared off the glass and down into the Ravens zone. Morin back to pick that up. 2 minutes remains on the power play for the Richmond Ravens. Sear back to Morin. Morin being watched. She puts it back out in front. Sear has it. Sear now looking for a place to go, and now she just takes the pass and works her way in herself. Her centering pass, it gets on his K stick. Kay unable to pull the trigger. Rolling puck there. Now Kay on the side of the net. She puts it to the front of the net. Ravens backhand. And the goaltender covers it with 3:23 remaining in the period, 1:36 remaining in non-advantage for the Richmond Ravens. Hernandez is out to take the face off with McDonald and Basquet. Nishi and Amadei back on the blue line. Face off won by the Cubs. They put it off the wall. Back to Amadei. Amadei keeps it in. Now comes back to her. Keeps it in again. She gets some help from McDonald as McDonald walks around the blue line. McDonald cuts to the middle. Now McDonald with a shot. She fans on that, and it gets onto a Cubs stick. Cubs back the other way. Cubs carrying it. Cubs ship it around Amadei. Amadei walks over to the wall, and now the Cubs pick it back up. They put it off the side of the net. Now the Ravens with a little bit of room. Hernandez with it. Hernandez drags it along. Now it gets back on the stick of the Ravens, and McDonald is going to get a penalty for body checking as she continued into the player trying to pull the puck out. 2:48 remains in the period, and the Ravens are going to go 4-on-4 for a minute and one, and then have a minute of a penalty kill. Macy, David, Wing, and Tran are the four players for the Richmond Ravens. Puck is dropped onto Macy's stick. Macy from behind the net. Now she's going to walk her way back out. Macy passes it forward for Wing. Wing collects that one perfectly. Wing works her way in her great goal drag. Wing to the net with a shot. Saved by the goaltender. Rebound picked up by the Cubs. They take it to the outside. Tip it off the wall. Held by Macy. Macy, a great move there. Holds it in. Now she's going to just chip it to the corner. Wing in after it. Play comes back to Macy. Macy off the wall. Macy with a shot. That makes it right on. Rebound comes out front. Saved by the goaltender. You got a quick whistle on that one as the puck squirts back out. But the whistle goes nonetheless. 2:15 remains in the period. Minute 27 in the 4-on-4. Tran, Wing, David, and Macy still out there. Back to David. David over to Macy. Macy with a little bit of room. Macy walks her way in. Now back to David. David, she shoots it too. Picked up by Tran. Tran with a shot. Saved by the goaltender. They even change up the forward line. Tran and Sear come out. Macy and David stay on. Puck drop. Picked up by Tran. Shot towards the net. Took this wide. Play continues in behind the net. Tran battling for it. It comes out to the wall. Tran putting pressure on. She turns it back over. Sear with it on her stick. She's going to try and cut out. Now she gets forced in behind. The Ravens on a penalty kill now. Now it comes back up to the point. From the point. Gets up past the defender, and now back the other way, 2-on-1. Pass over. Now a shot wide of the net. It comes off the back of the net, or back of the wall, and Macy gets it over to the far side where David picks it up. David has a little bit of room. She's going to fire it up ice. It's going to go the length of the ice with 37 seconds remaining, the man advantage for the Cubs now. From behind the net, the Cubs retreat. They're going to put it around to the near side. From the near side, Sear steps in. Play goes out to the middle and now through the neutral zone. Cubs with it on their stick. They cut into a shooting position and now put it right on. It goes past Babcock, comes off the wall, back wall, and in behind the net. Play continues, and now Sear's going to get called for a penalty. It's going to be a body check, and the Ravens go to a 5-on-3 for 12 seconds here late in the second period. A minute remains in the second. Amadei, Miguel, and Hernandez come on the ice. Miguel to take the faceoff. Puck is dropped, face-off won by the Ravens. They take it back to the corner. Hernandez takes it to the corner. She's just going to kill some time as 4 seconds remains on the 5-on-3. Now the play comes to the net, over to the near side. From the near side, walking in. There's a shot, saved by Babcock. Goes up in the air, comes straight back down. Babcock jumps on it, and the play stops with 33.3 seconds remaining in the second period. A minute 33 remaining in the man advantage for the Cubs. Miguel remains on to take the face-off. Face-off comes to the outside, and now in behind the net. From behind the net, they try to center it. It goes out the far side. From the far side, shot towards the net. It gets past Babcock. And the Ravens now have a 2-goal deficit as 25.3 seconds remains on the clock. Ravens now 5-on-5. Kate comes on the ice. Miguel out there, puck is dropped. Face off won by the Cubs. They put it back into the Ravens zone. Ravens try to pass it forward. That's onto a Cubs stick, and the Cubs pick it up. Cubs carrying it, dump it into the Ravens zone. Amadei in behind the net. Ravens reverse the play, killing the time. Now comes to the side of the net, shot towards the net. Save made by Babcock with no time left on the clock. She's going to hold on to that one with 2 seconds remaining. Face-off is going to be to the right side of Babcock, deep in the Raven zone. Miguel for the face-off. Face-off won by Miguel to the wall, and now a turn, a shot on net. Babcock makes the save at the whistle, and the Ravens are going to go to the dressing room as there's going to be a flood here. Shots on goal to this point. 18-15 in favor of the Cubs. All right, we're going to try a new segment that we call Defensive Dad with Mark David, one of the defensive dads. Mark, what do you see out there? What do the girls need to do?
Well, you know what? They need to play with each other, play for each other out there, and do a little bit more communicating, and just this is the type of game that they just have to go out there and have some fun. Like we're in Toronto, and it's a great opportunity to be together. And I think at the end of the day, they just need to have some fun at this last game.
Definitely, definitely. I agree with that. If you were going to pick out a couple of good things that are happening out there, what do you think that they're doing well?
Well, some of them are using the wall quite nicely, and trying to make that safe play. But I am hearing a bit of communicating out there, but they can communicate a little bit more. But other than that, they just gotta skate hard. They just gotta show have a little bit more energy out there, and we have their back, and let's go out there and score a goal coming out of the next period, and maybe that will get a little bit of momentum going.
A couple of quick ones, eh?
A couple of quick ones, yeah. But I do want to say hi to all the family and friends for watching, and we appreciate everything you do, Wes, and we're all behind the camera. Families do appreciate it, so I just want to say hi to everybody back out in Richmond.
All right, thanks a lot, Mark.
All right.
Yeah, just it'll go away right away. Yeah. Puck is dropped at the start of the third period as we finish up the Enrique Iglesias montage by Hernandez. Ravens bring it into the middle of the ice, deep in the Cub zone. Now puck comes up the near wall. Ravens battling for it. Hernandez down low. He brings it around to the near side. Miguel cuts to the middle. Now back to blue line. Amade takes a shot, but it hits a body, and now we have a puck coming back the other way. A shot well wide of the net. It goes out the far side and now onto a Cubs stick. Cubs get the stick lifted. Ravens now with it. McDonald has it on her stick. McDonald out down ice. That's going to be right on net. No ice on the play as the Ravens go for a change. Here comes on. She gets control of it. Now she gets some help from Basquet. Basquet out from the outside. She shoots it right on. Rebound comes back out to the side. Now from behind the net, Ravens dig it back out. Sear goes back to the blue line with it. Now she reverses the play on the near side. The short side shot now comes out. The save made. The puck is underneath the goalie's toe. Right on the goal line. The whistle goes with 13 minutes and 50 seconds remaining in the game. Ravens oh so close to pulling within one. Puck is dropped. Face off won by the Cubs. The Ravens though jump on top of that. Now the Cubs have it as they stayed in behind their own net. Cubs coming up to the neutral zone with some speed. Now they get around the first Raven and into the middle. From the middle, they get to a shooting position, but that is blocked by one of the Ravens. Now the Ravens get it out to the neutral zone, and Basquet goes for a race. As the puck comes all the way down the zone. The goaltender directs that into the corner as Basquet puts some pressure on the Cubs defender. Cubs bring it around to the near side. And now over to the far side. From the far side, the Cubs have it. They chip it up off the wall. The Cubs coming up ice. A 2-on-1. Great stick there by Macy. As Macy breaks up the 2-on-1. Now the play comes back to near side for Kay. Back out to the neutral zone. Sear pulls it back. It's Kay's offside. Tran has it. Tran with a great move. Now working through her way through the neutral zone. She's going to get in the zone and drop it back for Kay. Kay with a shot. Hits a stick and goes wide. Tran over on the far side. She feathers it back to the blue line. Ravens unable to handle that one cleanly. Morin is going to get called for holding as the Ravens go to the penalty kill yet again with 12:30 remaining in the third period. Miguel out to take the face-off. Face-off one to the wall by the Cubs. Cubs put it in behind the Ravens net. Now from the short near side, they put it to the half wall. Now it goes back down low. The Ravens hold them to the outside. Now from the far side, back to the blue line. From the blue line, shot blocked there by Miguel. Ravens get it on the stick. They go off the wall in the length of the ice. Now Sear gives chase. The play comes around to the near side. Now reversed around to the far side. Miguel in after it. Puck comes back out into the neutral zone. Cubs bring it up ice. Cubs from the outside. They try to cut around the defender. They're having none of that as the play goes to the wall. Now back into the feet of Nishi. 1:10 remains in the penalty to the Richmond Ravens. Nishi beating the puck on the wall. Now it comes back out. Chip back to the blue line. Shot right on. Saved by Babcock. She puts it over in behind the net. Now the Ravens get it to the half wall on the near side. Sear battling for it. Now it comes back out. Sear is going to bring it up ice. Sear with a chip. Now she's going to bring it around the defender. Sear with a shot towards the net. It goes wide. McDonald in after it. McDonald slows the advancement. And now Sear gets a stick on it. McDonald gives chase. The puck comes back down ice. Ravens have to be careful they don't get called for too many. Macy has it on her stick. Macy comes across the blue line. Now a slap shot wide of the net as it goes out the far side. Onto the stick of the Ravens. Now onto the Cubs bring it out. Cubs off the wall and chip it deep as the Ravens are on the penalty kill still. David has it on her stick. David gets it out down ice, and now Wing is giving chase. Wing is going to be the first one there. She stops up, and now Wing puts it towards the net. It goes off the back of the net. Wing still battling for it. Wing still has it. Wing now. She's just going to carry that as the penalty expires. Now she loses the handle. Now puts it over to the near side for Macy. Macy walks her way in. Her shot just wide of the net as McDonald was waiting to tip it there. Puck comes back down ice. Babcock keeps the play alive. Now she's going to cover it as the Cubs come in on her. 10:09 remains in the period. Ravens down 2-0. Puck is dropped. Face off goes in behind the net. Over to the near side. Now chip forward. Onto the stick of Hernandez. Hernandez comes up the ice. Hernandez battles off a check and chips the puck deep. Now Hernandez gives chase. Then behind the net. It gets reversed around to the near side. Up off the wall. Back to the blue line. Held by Sear. Sear puts it back in. Now it goes off of a skate. Comes up the middle. Chipped around the wall and down ice. Sear picks it up. Now Sear comes up off the glass. They're saying it's played with a high stick and it's going to come outside the zone. So whistle goes and 9:38 remains in the period. Hernandez to take the first face-off. Puck is dropped. Face-off won by the Cubs, but picked up now by Hernandez. Hernandez battles off a one-stick check, chips it deep, and the puck goes around for Basquet. Basquet tries a short-side chip, and now Basquet gets knocked down. As the play continues, the puck comes around to the near side. Now Miguel gets knocked down, and the penalty is going to be called against the Cubs. Tripping is the call as the Ravens go to the power play. Okay, Tran and Tran come out for the Richmond Ravens. Sear and Amade coming out to replace Morin with Sear staying on. Puck is dropped, comes back to the Ravens blue line. Amade has it. Amade, she tries to chip it towards the net. It gets into the feet of the Ravens. Now backhand towards the net. Tran in after it. Amade seals the wall and it gets past her and back down into the neutral zone. Tran has it on her stick. Tran with a quick move. Now she's working her way in. Tran to the middle of the ice. Tran now looking to set it up. Tran puts it towards the net. It gets out to the middle and to the blue line, held by Sear. Sear walks the blue line. Now she shoots it towards the open wing. From the open wing, it comes back to the blue line. Amade holds the blue. Now chip back deep, looking for Kay. Kay tries to center it out front. It comes right out front. Tran unable to handle it cleanly, and now comes back to the side of the net. Tran trying to put it back out front onto the stick of Tran. Tran working it down low. Now Tran has it. Tran circling at the top of the circle. Now Tran tries to toe drag. Come back to the blue line. Sear with a shot. That's on the stick of now with one of the Cubs as they get it down ice. 54 seconds remains in the penalty to the Cubs as the Richmond Ravens pick it up with a little bit of speed. Amade has it. She's going to try a long lead pass for Kay. Kay goes across to the middle of the ice. Just in front of McDonald, behind McDonald. Sear steps up and now it gets put back deep into the Raven zone. Now Amade has it. Amade chips it forward, and that's on the Miguel stick. Miguel, he's going to chip it around the defender. Now Miguel working her way to the net. Miguel from the far side. He puts it back to the blue line, walking in. There's a shot just wide of the net. Comes over to the near side. David has it. David from down low. He chips it around behind the net. We're 15 seconds remains in the penalty. The Ravens set up. Now Macy works her way into a shooting position. Shot right on, saved by the goaltender. It goes out to the wall. Now back to the middle. Hernandez with a great toe drag to keep control of it. Now Hernandez walks around the first player. He gets pushed to the outside, puts it back to the blue line for Macy. Macy walking her way in. Now a shot just wide of the net as David steps up. Player comes out of the box. McDonald picks it up. McDonald, she's going to wear a black jersey. She gets some help now from Hernandez. Whistle goes as the play is froze. 7 minutes remains on the clock here in the third period. Sear and Morin come on for the Ravens defenders. Sear out there for the forward. One to wing stick. Wing with a shot towards the net. Saved by the goaltender. Rebound comes out to the wall. Back to the blue line. Wing got a stick on that. He tries to put it to the middle, but it gets picked up by the Cubs. Cubs work their way to the Ravens zone. Cubs from the outside now. Stop up. There's a spin move. Ravens take him to the wall. Now Morin in to dig it out. Cubs come out with it. Now they're going to cut from the short side in behind the net. from behind the net. The Ravens take them to the end wall. Battle continues as the Ravens win that one. Coming out with it, the Ravens. Sear has it on her stick. Sear works her way up to center ice and then dumps it in. Sear's going to come back and try and pick it up from behind the net. Sear continues through, and they're calling a penalty against Sear. They're calling it a body check, even though she was the puck carrier. Not really sure exactly how that can work, but we're in Toronto and they know the rules. So 2-0 is the score in favor of the Cubs. Faceoff's going to come down to the right side of Babcock in the Raven zone. I guess you're going to have it on the left side. Trying to take the faceoff. Puck goes out to the wall, back to the blue line. Tran gets it out to the neutral zone, and Kay gives chase. He gets into the feet of Kay. He's unable to pull it forward, and now the play comes back into the Raven zone. Ravens on it. Keep it to the outside as the backhand doesn't get to net. Now a shot right on. Babcock makes that save. Holds on with 1:35 remaining in the man advantage for the Cubs. 5:52 remains in the period. Puck is dropped, face off out to the wall. Now back into the corner. Ravens lose their footing. Now walking out with it is the Cubs. Cubs get it to a middle before Tran picks it up. Tran works her way to the outside. Now Tran chips it off the wall and goes in behind the net. He overskates it and it gets on the skate of one of the Cubs, and they're looking to break it out. Cubs get out to the neutral zone before Wing picks it up. Now Wing loses the handle on it. Now puck comes back the other way. Wing, make sure she gets a stick on that. Cubs from the outside, cut into the middle, a shot, block. Another shot, blocked again by Macy. Macy gets another stick. She goes up off the wall. Cubs keep it in. 54 seconds remains in the man advantage for the Cubs. Cubs back to the half wall, now the blue line. From the blue line, there's a shot. It goes well wide of the net and out the far side. Now chip back in. Cubs get taken to the wall by the Ravens on the deep in the zone. Now from behind the net, the Ravens get control of it. Unable to clear though, it's blocked to the blue and held there. Now back into the corner. Cubs try to put it back out, and the Tran gets a stick on that. Tran with a little bit of room, and now she's going to try and cut to the net. She loses the handle on it, but doubles back. Tran still with it on her stick. Tran trying to go back to the blue line. Now the Cubs have it. Cubs working their way through the neutral zone. Macy steps up now, cuts to the middle. A great back check there by Miguel to hold the puck from getting on net. Now Miguel sidesteps a couple of players and she works their way up the ice. Play continues as the Ravens now. Hernandez has it on her stick as we're 5-on-5 here again. Hernandez from behind the net. Hernandez circling around. Hernandez still circling. Hernandez, she's going to go for another one. Now she stops up in the corner. Hernandez back to the blue line. She buys some room. Now a shot from the blue line. Doesn't make it through. It hits a player in front. Hernandez again within the corner. She's going to get some help now. Miguel wears a hit as she comes in to help out. Now the puck comes to the side of the net. Play continues. Puck back to the blue line. Amadei with it. Amadei with a shot. That hits the body. Now rebound. Saved by the goaltender who holds on to that one. Whistle goes with 3 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in the third period. Ravens down 2-0. Face off, deep in the zone. Puck is dropped, face off, one back to the blue line. Sear with it, she shoots it towards the net. It gets tipped just. The goaltender makes a save, and now the puck comes back the other way. Sear after it, she has some pressure on her. Sear's gonna send it around, looking for some help from McDonald. McDonald forward for Sear. It gets turned back, and now Amadei puts it forward, looking for Basquet. It gets past Basquet and onto a Cubs stick behind their own goal line. Now chip forward, back to the blue line, chipped around Sear, and we have a 2-on-1 forming the other way. Sear back checks hard and holds the play to the outside. Now short side shots, hits the side of the net. And back out to the outside. McDonald puts it around behind the net as Morin picks it up. Morin with a little bit of room. Morin with a couple of moves. Now she chips it looking for an open wing. She's going to pick it up though and go for a skate as Morin goes off They're saying offside is called against the Richmond Ravens with 2 minutes and 35 seconds remaining in the period. Wing, Miguel, and Basquet out there for the Ravens. Sorry, and Hernandez. It gets to Macy. Macy to Hernandez. Hernandez puts it over and deep in the zone. Play comes around to the near side. Picked up there by the Ravens. Centered. Shot. Save made by the goaltender as the Ravens had a great chance there. The goaltender picks up the puck and doesn't let a rebound out. Miguel to take the face off. She's got Wing and Hernandez with her up front. David and Macy back on the blue line. This time the play is face off won by the Cubs. They get it down in the Ravens zone. Macy picks that up. Macy up off the wall. It gets past her onto a Cubs stick. Cubs work their way in from the outside. They toe drag to the net. Now a shot saved by Babcock, point blank. He covers that up, and we have 2:02 remaining in the period. Miguel to take the face off. Puck is dropped. Face off won by the Ravens. They put it around the near side. Amade after it. Picked up by one of the Cubs, and now picked up by Tran. Tran with a quick move there and works their way up the middle. Great pass across for Hernandez. Hernandez has to fight off a check. It comes up the wall, back to the blue line. Now Sear walks with it. Sear passes it over to the near side. Amade with it. Amade with a shot. Doesn't make it through. Now Miguel goes back to the blue line for Amade. Amade shoots it again. A tip right on, saved by the goaltender who holds on to that. Minute 34 remains, and Babcock heads their way to the bench as McDonald comes out. We're empty net with 6 on 5 and a minute 34 remaining. Ends up in the stick of the Cubs. Cubs backhanded off the wall. Now Ravens unable to wrangle it. Cubs work their way into the Ravens zone, and now a shot blocked there by the Ravens. Steer has it on their stick. Cubs work it in down low. Ravens, McDonald steps in. Now McDonald with it. McDonald working her way up the ice. McDonald to the outside. She wears a slash as the play continues. Now McDonald cuts to the middle. She's going to get tripped up, and there's a penalty called. 1:04 remains in the period as the Ravens are going to be 6 on 4. And the net empty in the Raven zone. Amade, Sear, McDonald, Hernandez, and Kay are the Richmond Ravens, with Tran coming out there as well. Puck is dropped, face off one, back off the blue line to Sear. Sear forward for McDonald. McDonald across seam. Ravens battling for it. Shot on the net. It goes wide, and I think the ref says the net came off. Face off to the right side of the goalie with 55.1 seconds remaining. Miguel comes on the ice. Tran heads back to the bench. Face off one cleanly. Now over Amade. Amade with a fake pass, and now Amade with a shot. Backhand. Puck, our net comes off again as the Ravens on the doorstep. 47.3 seconds remains. That's reset. Hernandez to take the face off. Puck is dropped, face off one. It goes back to the blue line. Walking the blue line. Sear puts it over in the near side for Amade. Amade with a shot. Saved by the goaltender. It goes behind the net. Ravens get it back towards the front of the net. Now a great move there. Backhand goes over the net. Now short side shot from behind the net. They try to put it back out front. Now a shot. Another one. Gets on the stick of the Cubs. Make sure Clipper put it off the wall. Sear goes across ice. Ends up getting picked up by one of the Cubs. Ravens backhanded forward. Backhanded, but it ends up getting in the back of the net as the Cubs with another one in shorthanded with 14 and a half seconds remaining in the period. Babcock makes her way back towards the net. Puck is dropped. Face off won by the Ravens. Basket forces it forward. Basket still trying to force it towards the net. Now the Ravens shoot it at the net. Ravens right there. Backhand and save made by the goaltender. Point blank on the backhand. And that's going to do it for the game as the Ravens come on out down 3-1 or 3-0. Shots on goal 27-23 in favor of the Richmond Ravens. Just hold on. Just make sure you watch there. Just leave it alone.